Hello, this is John Harmer from Small Business Elementals. In this blog video, I'm going to be looking at the first of the reasons why so many businesses close their doors, and that is the lack of records being kept. Now, all businesses need some sort of basic records. Without records of any sort, a business has got no idea where it's heading in the future, and it's certainly got no idea where it's been. And in addition to which is that there's certain very important groups of people who want to see some records so that they can also gauge and monitor the information that they need from the business. So who needs records? Well, first of all, of course, is the business owner themselves. I mean, as I said, without any records, they don't know where they're heading and they don't know where they've been. So that's a recipe for disaster all by itself. The second major group that are interested in the business records are, of course, the taxing authorities, the taxation officers, the internal revenue services, collector of taxes, whatever you want to call them in the various different countries. They're all of them very, very keen to know how the business has been going, because they want to charge the correct amount of tax, and without records they can't do that. And the final one that's very interested in what's going on, of course, are the financiers, the banks and the other lending institutions. Maybe too the people that have advanced capital, like family and friends. They want to know how the business is going as well. They would never know without records being kept. Now, what sort of records should be kept, one could ask. The first one, of course, is banking records. Fairly simple to just keep a bank statement and to make sure that everything that's been paid has been paid out of a bank account. Everything that's been received is banked into a banking account. The second major record that needs to be kept are the day-to-day business activity records. What the sales were, what the purchases were, how much was spent on this, on that. What about the wages records for their employees? Just basic day-to-day records that need to be kept. And the third group that I'm only going to mention here, of course, is the asset records and inventory records. No business can operate without not having a sufficient inventory of products on hand to sell. And if it doesn't have a record of what is available, it's really is flying by the seat of its pants. And if it doesn't have a record of what assets it owns, it doesn't know what it can use, it doesn't know where and when it can use them. There's not much point in that. And finally, let's have a look at how should these records be kept. There are two sorts of records. They're manual records and electronic records. They're manual records is purely that, done by hand, just information written in a book. Wouldn't matter what sort of book. It can be an exercise book, it can be a cash book. Right? It can be on sheets of paper, providing that they're all kept in order and maintained properly. It doesn't matter what sort of records they are, as long as they're written down somewhere so that people can check them and say, oh, okay, this has been done in this or that fashion. And of course, the electronic records are just purely and simply an electronic version of the manual records. It's usually a software program that's been purchased by the business owner and installed on their computer, and there are dozens and dozens of different software programs that will record business transactions for you. And instead of just writing them by hand in a book, you key the information in to the computer software using the keyboard. This has been John Harmer from Small Business Elementals. I hope this has been informative and useful for you. And I look forward to speaking with you next time when I'll talk about the second of the major reasons why businesses don't manage to succeed, and that is the absence of any planning.